Today, we're breaking down the Wedgewood area here in Conroe because what most buyers don't realize is that it's not just one neighborhood. You've got the original Wedgewood section, Wedgewood Forest, and Wedgewood Falls, which actually has two different sections within it. If you're researching this area and wondering what the real differences are, I'm going to walk you through how they compare in age, lot size, layout style, and overall feel. I'm Allie Grodsky, a realtor here in Conroe and North Houston, and I help buyers understand neighborhood patterns before they ever start writing offers. Let's take a look. When buyers search Wedgewood in Conroe, they often assume it's one neighborhood. It's not. It's really three, arguably four, distinct sections within the same general pocket. And the reason they feel so different is because they were built in completely different eras. That build era shift changes everything. Lot size, layout style, curb appeal, even buyer expectations. Let's start with the original Wedgewood section. This is the oldest and most established portion of the area, dating roughly from the 1970s through the 1990s. It's governed by its own property owners association and consists of about 75 custom and estate style homes. These weren't production built by a single national builder, so there's far more variation house to house. You'll notice it immediately when you drive through. The architecture is not cookie cutter, lot sizes vary. Some homes sit deeper on their parcels, some have side entry garages, some have been fully renovated while others still reflect original finishes. Mature trees are a defining feature here, especially those tall pines that give the streets real canopy coverage. The lots tend to feel more spacious compared to newer subdivisions in Conroe, and the spacing between homes feels intentional rather than compressed. This section was also historically shaped by the now closed Wedgewood Golf Course. Even though the course isn't operational anymore, its footprint influenced how the neighborhood was designed. Wider setbacks, larger parcels, and a layout that still feels more open than what you'd see in newer master plan developments. Buyers often comment on that sense of greenery and breathing room. What you're really buying in the original Wedgewood section is land and character, but that can also mean more variability in updates and mechanical systems depending on the home. Now let's move to Wedgewood Falls. Falls was primarily built in the early 2000s and reflects that classic Montgomery County production builder era. Homes were built by builders active at that time, including KB Home, D.R. Horton, and Chesmar Homes. Compared to the original Wedgewood, Falls feels more consistent. The streetscapes are more uniform, the lot dimensions are more predictable, and the layouts reflect early 2000s design trends. Think traditional two-story plans, defined living and dining areas, and more standardized elevations. You don't see as much architectural variation as you do in the original section. That consistency can actually be appealing for buyers who want something newer and more cohesive without stepping into current new build pricing. Within Falls, there's also a section called Estates of Wedgewood Falls, which is recognized separately in MLS. The estates homes were built during the same general time frame, but they typically sit on larger lots and offer more interior square footage compared to the standard Falls sections. That pocket feels slightly more elevated while still maintaining that early 2000s production style. So if someone likes the Falls location but wants more yard depth or a little more house, the estates section is usually where that shows up. Now let's talk about Wedgewood Forest. Forest is the newest of the three, with development beginning around 2017 on roughly 111 acres. It was built by production builders active in Conroe during the time, including Kalina Homes, DH Homes, and LGI. Because of that build era, the layout style feels noticeably different. You'll see more open concept designs, higher ceilings, updated exterior elevations, and energy efficiency standards that reflect more current building codes. Lot sizes here are generally more compact than the original Wedgewood. The spacing feels tighter, but the overall neighborhood aesthetic is cohesive and contemporary. Street after street feels visually aligned. Forest tends to attract buyers who prioritize modern layout flow and updated finishes over lot depth or architectural variation. So if we step back and simplify the trade-offs across all three sections, it really comes down to era and priorities. The original Wedgewood section offers the most land and the most individuality. Larger lots, mature trees, architectural variation, and sometimes more variability in systems or updates depending on the home. It's land forward and character driven. Wedgewood Falls sits in that early 2000s middle ground. It offers more uniformity, more predictable layouts, and more consistency from street to street. Within Falls, the estate section pushes that slightly further with larger lots and bigger homes, but still within that production builder era feel. Wedgewood Forest represents the most modern phase. Tighter lot footprints, more open concept layouts, higher ceilings, and updated exterior styling. It's cohesive and contemporary. None of these are better, they simply reflect different buyer priorities. So if you prioritize yard size and architectural variation, the original section likely makes more sense. If you want something consistent and moderately newer without going fully modern, Falls often hits that balance. And if you prefer open layouts and updated design standards, Forest aligns most closely with that preference. Now, zooming out to resale positioning. When you look at recent sales, pricing trends tend to follow those patterns. Newer construction often commands a higher price per square foot, while older sections may trade more heavily on lot size and land value. Established neighborhoods, especially those shaped by features like the former golf course, often maintain a distinct sense of space that's difficult to replicate in newer development. That can support long-term desirability because lot patterns and green surroundings don't easily get rebuilt once they're gone. Newer feeling sections, on the other hand, tend to attract buyers who prioritize move-in ready simplicity and modern layout standards. So, evaluating these areas isn't about determining which is superior. It's about understanding how each aligns with your long-term goals, maintenance tolerance, and lifestyle preferences. On a map, they look similar. In person, they feel very different. And understanding that difference before you start touring saves time, reduces frustration, and helps you narrow your search much faster. Every pocket in Conroe has patterns. Once you see them, the decisions get easier. If you're relocating and trying to compare neighborhoods like this from a distance, these nuances don't always show up online. If you want help walking through them, I'm happy to help.